Hey, what's up, guys? Timothy, and I'm back with a new episode of Website Agency Secrets. We're talking about blogging for SEO. You know, it's where search engine optimization and your blog meet. For many local business websites that either don't have a blog, or if they do, they don't know what to do with it, and they certainly don't know how to take advantage of higher rankings on Google by utilizing their blog well. So let's dive into episode 14, Blogging for SEO. Hey guys, all right, it's been a little while since I released a podcast. It's because I am super deep in Website Agency Secrets Bootcamp, which is a program that I put on a few times a year for marketing agencies that are looking to sell websites to local businesses like you. So if you are a marketing agency owner, you're listening to this, and you haven't checked out my bootcamp for growing your WAS program, that's websiteagencysecrets.com. Check it out. If you are a local business, you're also in the right place, because today we're talking about optimizing your website for search engines and also your blog for search engines. So specifically blogging for SEO. This is one of my favorite things to talk about because it's usually a tool you already have on your site, and it's usually something you are underutilizing. So what is the issue? Number one, are blogs relevant and actually helpful? Lots of small businesses might argue that they're not helpful. They're not relevant anymore, but I am here to argue that they are. Problem number two, you might have a blog and nobody ever reads it. Should you just quit writing them? We'll dive into that. And then number three, it seems like a lot of work. If you are someone that just doesn't like writing, it may seem like a ton of work to write your blog, and I've got some good solutions for you, procrastinators and non-creative types that'll really, really help you. So, all right. If you guys are listening on Spotify or Apple or any other audio streaming services, I do have video versions on YouTube. So if you are a visual learner and you want to see this PowerPoint alongside my voice, check me out on YouTube. Website Agency Secrets, links on my website. Okay, key points today. Number one, we want to understand the true purpose of your blog. Number two, we want to understand the SEO behind your effort. And if you're already writing blogs, but not writing them for Google alongside your audience, you're missing out. So how can we increase your blog value by 10x? How to make your blog useful even if nobody ever reads it. Like if your traffic is really low, how can we make sure your blog is still relevant? And then my favorite blogs for ranking right away, and also how to make your old blogs useful. If you have blogs that you wrote a long time ago, how to revitalize them and make them interesting. So first, let's talk about the purpose of your blog. Now, most of you guys know this podcast is geared towards local business owners. So if you're a local business, you got to understand your blog is going to be a little different. You're trying to rank in your particular town and your certain target area keywords. And so your blog can be less like topical and more bulletin board based, right? So you think about it like your bulletin board, like what's happening this week. It's like if you were to write on your Facebook page and make a post like member of the month or something, why not post that on your blog as well? If you're already doing the post, you might as well use that as new content. And that's my second bullet point. Content is king. Now, you might think that content means like writing a really complicated, deep study into the subject you're talking about. Like I had a fitness studio client, and all his blogs, he would spend, hours and hours writing about really, really high level stuff, like certain muscle groups and certain exercise movements. And frankly, it was really good educational stuff. But the majority of his audience, like in his local town, they didn't need that depth of content. He could have scaled it down and just talked about like, here's my member of the month, or here's the schedule this week and what we're working on. Hey guys, we're doing a social on Saturday, and what that does is it creates more pages on your website. And that's what I mean by content is king. The more pages on your website, right, the better. And content is also for Google. You might make a blog post about your member of the month, and now your website's a little bit deeper. You got some more pages. And as we'll talk about in my next point, you can utilize that new page to put keywords on it for your own ranking purposes. And so the content of your blogs don't it doesn't have to be very high level and educational. It's really just, if you're posting on Facebook, you might as well post on your blog. Hey, and while you're doing that, why don't you link to one another and build some backlinks and or site links? So backlinks are when your website links to another website. And it's a really powerful tool. And one way you can do it is you can write the words like check out more martial arts in Winston-Salem news on my Facebook page. And if you hyperlink that phrase and link to your Facebook page, Google's going to know, hey, this website is talking about this subject, like martial arts in Winston-Salem. I have this graphic. If you're watching on YouTube, it's like every time you post on your blog, you can link to your Facebook, your Twitter, your Google Plus, your Instagram, or whatever. And every time you post on those channels, you can also link back to your blog. And you begin to build this web of backlinks back and forth, all talking about similar subjects. And it becomes a very powerful snowball of links that Google becomes very confident about the subject matter of your website and of your social media. And to any of you guys that are new to SEO, the essence of search engine optimization is, what is the subject matter of your site? And, for local businesses, it's, I'm in the fitness niche. And so, I want Google to know very clearly the subject matter of my websites are fitness classes, personal trainer in my town. Now, the more pages about a subject, the higher Google's confidence. And so I had a martial arts client that wanted to start teaching yoga. And so he said to me, hey, how can I start to rank for yoga? Now, Google does not consider martial arts and yoga to be the same. So if someone's going to search martial arts in town and someone searches yoga in town, that will usually present two different results. But I told him, I said, look, let's start blogging about yoga. And so, obviously we made a program page. Obviously we added the content to his website, but we also started blogging about yoga. And he started doing a series on just yoga, like, hey, we got a new yoga class in Winston-Salem coming up this Thursday, and then another blog, like, big shout out to the newest members of our yoga class. And as he started talking about yoga, Google began to understand, wow, this is not just a martial arts website. This is a martial arts and yoga website, and began to present his URL as a search result when people queried martial art, like yoga in town. And you can do the same thing with social media as well. So, I'm sure it becomes like, if you are a local business and you begin offering a new service, surely you would post on your Facebook page about it. Well, that's great for Facebook, but no one's on Facebook searching for yoga near me, right? So by posting on your blog, it's kind of like your news feed for Google's algorithm. And you can take that same content you would put on Facebook and post it on your blog. I have here highlight members of the month. I love this. It's really good for that social media web, because guess who wants to share your blog post about them being member of the month? Now, if you post on social media and you're like, yo, Jimmy is the member of the month, he's probably going to like it, share it, comment, etc. Well, if you post it on your blog and then you send him the link, guess what he's going to share on his personal page? Your blog link, which leads to your website, which is more backlinks and more traffic to your site. So I always say, really utilize your blog for highlighting members of the month. And where Facebook posts get lost over the years in the depth of your newsfeed, blog posts live in Google forever. So you really want to utilize that. Okay, so what if you do all this effort and you feel like no one's actually reading your blog? Like, no one ever reads it, no one ever pays attention to it. Well, it can still have value for Google. And the first way you want to make value to Google is by being smart about your blog titles. So here's an example of a URL on a site that we run that is, join us for the best kids martial arts in Winston-Salem. So this is like an introductory blog post, but look at the URL. So the title of the blog also becomes the URL of the blog. Like when you, it's not just like blog/114711, it's not just like a string of numbers. It's actually, url.com/blog/join us for the best kids martial arts in Winston-Salem. Now check out the keywords in that URL. Do you think Google knows what this blog is about? Heck yeah, they do, right? So if you name your blog something with keywords, that's going to be more useful. For example, member of the month, like yoga class member of the month Winston-Salem or something like that. Or like, let's say it's Jimmy, okay? Like, congratulations to our yoga class, to our Winston-Salem location yoga class member of the month, Jimmy, right? Now, that might feel a little wordy. You can wordsmith it a little bit. But the point is, take advantage of your blog title to make some really relevant keywords. I also tell people, look, if you already rank in a certain town name and you're trying to rank in a new town, like your next 10 blogs should all talk about the new target area number 2. You know, so if you haven't done this exercise, you know, I talk about this in my mastermind. I talk about, you know, make your list of your target areas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And once you've done that, once you rank for number 1, now we're going to start ranking for number 2, and then you want to start ranking for number 3. And this is how you do that, by saying, hey, I already rank in town number 1. Now I want to rank in town number 2. I'm going to start utilizing that keyword in all my blogs. And then, of course, in the copy of the blog, you can add keywords as well. But the title is usually an H1, and it's usually in the blog URL structure. So it's really important to name it something meaningful. And this is an example of what it looks like in action. I'm looking at a screenshot here for you guys that are just audio only. And you can see how join us for the best kids martial arts in Winston-Salem is big, bold, H1. And you can see that in the URL as well. Man, I've got a top blog right now. I love, if you Google right now, if you Google yoga near me, or maybe even dry cleaning near me, you likely are going to find ranking number 1 or top of the search engine, a Yelp website that is called, I'm looking at a screenshot at it right now on YouTube. It says the best 10 martial arts in Winston-Salem, NC. Right. So Yelp has now created a directory that they're calling the best 10. And guess what it is? It's just a business listing link, right? It's just business listing. Well, I thought to myself one day, I said, well, what if I made a blog post that just mimicked this? So, you know, you can do this. You go and look to see what are the top ranking URLs and what are the top ranking titles of stuff, and then write blogs that are the same thing. So I started making blog posts, the 5 best martial arts classes in Winston-Salem, like the 5 best Krav Maga classes in Winston-Salem, the 5 best kickboxing classes in Winston-Salem. And guess what I talked about on it? I said, guys, I got the 5 best martial arts classes in Winston-Salem. My 5 a.m. class is the number 1 class. My 10 a.m. class is the number 2 class. My 5 p.m. is the number 3 class, right? And so the blog content is just my schedule, essentially, but I named it an exact match of what was already ranking number 1. And you can really be inspired by that. I always say, look to see who's ranking number 1 and copy them, right? So if Google is really loving these Yelp pages, emulate it. And especially if you have a new service or a service that is currently not ranking, this is a really good way to rank right now. By making these blog posts that are just titled the same things as what is currently ranking number 1. And I've got here, you could do your different target areas, the 5 best martial arts classes in Clemens, right? Which is a target area surrounding Winston-Salem. So yeah, if you do one homework item from this podcast, go and make a blog post that is the 5 best dry cleaning services in your town, whatever your service is. I was talking with a guy who does pool cleaning, and I said, the 5 best pool maintenance services, in the area. And it was the services he provides. So I thought that was pretty cool. So take that and run with it. All right, let's say you have a bunch of old blogs that you wrote a long time ago, and then you kind of stopped. You can take this and go and repurpose those old blogs by going back and renaming the titles. So if you feel like sticking all those keywords in the titles makes it a little too wordy and you want to keep it short, well, okay, maybe post the blog with the shorter title, but you can always go back in time and update the titles to be more SEO rich. And again, are people really reading their blogs that you posted 2 or 3 years ago? Maybe not, but you go and change the title and then Google will recrawl it over time and see that the keywords are in the titles, and that'll start to help you. So don't be afraid to go back in time and make adjustments to old blogs. I think that's a huge missed opportunity, that people think that once it's posted, it's set in stone. Well, it's not. You can even, if you really want to dive deep, look to see which one of your blogs are not getting any traffic. Which is your worst blog? and just go and edit it. Like go and add these strategies to that blog post. So in summary, you guys got to remember, you don't have to write about complicated stuff. It can be simple stuff like your bulletin board, like what you post on Facebook already. Post links to your social media at the bottom of all your blogs, right? And then when you post your blog, go and share the blog on all your social media links, things like member of the month, etc. Use your blog titles wisely. Like, it's the most powerful part of your blog. If you're trying to rank for a new service or a new target area, use your blog title wisely. Copy what's already ranking number one. Like I gave the example of Yelp's ranking for the 10 best martial arts classes in Winston-Salem. Go write a blog that says that and talk about your 10 best classes. And if you don't have 10 classes of the same thing, then talk about your 5 best classes, right? Just go copy. Like if Google is obviously promoting a particular kind of subject or title or talking point, go and write about that. And don't be afraid to go and reuse your old blogs. Go back and edit some titles, add some keywords, etc. And this is how you can turn your blog out of just something for the masses and something for Google. So whether or not you have actual human eyes looking at it, it's still of value to you. And guess what? As you rank higher on Google, you end up with more human eyes, which is the whole point. So thanks, guys, for tuning in to this episode of Website Agency Secrets. Remember, your reputation in your town, the perception that your community has of your local business, it starts with your website, right? And by investing into it, you are serving your community. Thanks, guys. I'll catch you next time.